यस्यत्वा रूपमाद्यं
प्रभवति जगत्तु
एकधानुग्रहाय प्रक्षीणक्लेशराशिरविषमविषधरो अनेकवक्त्र सुभोगी सर्वज्ञानप्रसूतिर्भुजगपरिकरा प्रीतये यस्य नित्यम् देवो हि सहसोऽव्यात् सितविमलतनुर्योगदो योगयुक्तः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Gently bow your head down. Bring yourself to the class. Prepare yourself for the session. When you're ready, gently lift your head up. Open your eyes. External eyes. Namaste. We will continue from where we paused yesterday. We were talking about Videha and Prakriti layas. Yes, and in Videha and Prakriti laya, we said that Videhas could be gods also. Yes, some gods who wanted to attain some kind of power. Also, it is important to note that Videha and Prakriti laya both have some form of ignorance. Both the Videha and Prakriti laya will have some part of ignorance in them. Means what? When we look at the congregations like Kumbh Mela, or we see many sages. Not all of them have studied the scriptures, especially if you go to MP. So they are trying to be in the practice of yoga to achieve a certain power. And with that power, what they do, they use it in the world, or they earn money through it, or things like that. So the goal of the practice is not liberation. The goal of the practice is supremacy. Yes. So in the tamasic form, therefore, we see that many people who are wearing saffron clothes, but they have never studied Sanskrit or any of the scriptures. You will see them, sitting in the graveyard, going through extreme austerities, trying to, win over certain power. So they are also meditating. Why they are mentioned separately? Because yesterday we talked about intensity. They also have this intense urge. But the intention is different. The intention is not mukti, mumukshutva, or liberation. So they get what they want to achieve. They may either be masters of the senses. If we look at this entire Sankhya chart, we see that Videhas are the ones till Rajas Ahamkara. Videhas are the ones till Rajas Ahamkara. So we have Purusha plus Prakriti, Mahat, then we have Ahamkara. Then on the left side we have the Manas, Gyanindriya, Karma Indriya, then Rajas, and under Tamas we see 5 elements. So when we talk about Videha, except the 5 elements, they have everything else with them. Means there is Mahat, there is Ahamkara, there is Manas, there is Gyanindriya, Karma Indriya in its Sukshma form, subtle form. So they are in, when we say that they leave their body, they are not liberated, but in the next birth, they are serving a span which is bodiless until they body. So they are in waiting. But what they feel like they have been liberated. This form we also discussed is ignorance. So under Videha, Prakriti Laya, we also see many, I would say, in Tantra, we often get to see this in, Krishna Karma in Tantra, the dark practices of Tantra, where people go through extreme spiritual practices to attain a certain power. So the intention of that sadhana is never liberation. All of those, we put them under the category of Videha and Prakriti Laya. Means whatever they want to achieve, they still want to be a part of the Prakriti and attain supremacy over Prakriti. And we talk about certain gods also. For them, they would exercise certain powers in a good way as long as they want in the world. And we also saw that gods also then further went on diminishing. So they can exercise good powers in the world as long as they wish. Now, when we study the highest philosophy, which is Vedanta, Vedanta refutes this particular point of yoga philosophy. Vedanta, which is a higher philosophy than yoga philosophy, it says that some of the gods could be liberated too and they can still be born. So, how do you explain this? Vedanta will bring up this question. So, if we study Vedanta in the future, we get the answer to this question that there could be some gods who are Jiva Mukta or Jivan Mukta. Means even after being liberated, they can take a certain form, human form, or be born again for the goodwill of others. Yes, but for now, what does yoga philosophy say? It talks about Videha and Prakriti Laya. Now, after that, we studied Sutra number 21, where we saw Upayas, different Upaya. Let's chant Sutra 1 to Sutra 20 together. Mandeep ji, you will chant first 5 sutras. Lisa ji from 6 to 10. Emma ji 10 to 15. Shailaja ji from 16 to 20. Yes.
अथ योगः अनुशासनम् योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः तदा द्रष्टु स्वरूपे अवस्थानम् वृत्तिसारूप्यम् इतरत्र वृत्तयः पञ्चतया अक्लिष्ट
Pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidrasmritayah pratyaksha anumana agamaha pramanani viparyayo mityajnanam atadrupa pratishtham shabdagyana anupati vastushunya vikalpaha abhava pratyaya alambana vrittinidra. Also 11. Anubhuta vishaya asampramoshaha smritihi.
Good. Yes, Emma ji.
Abhyasa vairagyapyam pranirodha tatra sisau yatno abhyasaha satu dirghakala nairantaryastakara sevito tirabhumihi drishtana shravika vishaya vitrasnasya vasikarsamja vairagyam.
तत्परं पुरुषख्यातेर्गुणवैतृष्ण्यं वितर्कविचारानन्द अस्मिता रूपानुगमात् सम्प्रज्ञातः विरामा प्रत्ययाभ्यासपूर्वः संस्कारशेषोऽन्यः भावप्रत्ययो विदेह प्रकृतिलयानां श्रद्धा वीर्य स्मृति समाधि प्रज्ञापूर्वक इतरेषाम्.
Uttama. Very good. So, So I will keep asking all of us to chant in every class. I will just change the sequence so that our pronunciation becomes clear and clear. So Sutra 20 talks about 5 stages. Out of the 5, it talks about 3 methods. In 5, it talks about 3 methods. Which are these 3 methods? First 3, Shraddha, Virya and Smriti. All these 3 are Upaya. So yesterday we started discussing what is Shraddha. Shraddha, what is Shraddha?
Faith.
Faith. So I will, just read one of the notes I have made here for Shraddha in Sanskrit. Shraddha satyam tada asyam dhiyate iti Shraddha. Means Shra is truth. It comes from Satya. Sa becomes Shra. Sa is truth. And wherever you see dha or dhi in Sanskrit, it means to hold. Like you have dharana, dhyana. Wherever dha will come, it means to hold. So to hold the truth, Shraddha is what? To hold the truth, which means having faith in the truth. Shraddha. So when Shraddha is there, what happens? This sutra says, Itaresham. Itaresham means for others. Others means apart from the Videhas and Prakriti Laya. So what are they doing to reach Asampragyata Samadhi? What is their path? Because for Itaresham, that is the others, their goal is liberation. So what kind of method they are utilizing? So first is the method which is discussed is known as Shraddha or faith. Shraddha or faith. When the Shraddha or faith becomes very strong, we said it turns into Virya, virality or celibacy. Now, we will not only take this celibacy in a limited sense at the level of body. Yes, we will take this celibacy at the level of mind also. Means what is happening in Virya, there is pratyahara towards everything else except that one thought. The state of Virya is causing what? Pratyahara, withdrawal of senses. So when there is intense faith or surrender, what is the gift of this faith or surrender? There is pratyahara, withdrawal of senses from all other objects of the world, which means we are saved. Saved from what? Making any other entanglements in the world or mistakes or any other. Why? Because mind is holding on to only one object. And since there is faith, there is mutual respect that develops. And the gift of faith is pratyahara. Therefore, why we say satsanga? When we are in the presence of our Guru, just by being in the presence of the Guru, you will see no other thoughts enter your mind during that period of time. You are in a different state. You're in a very pleasant state. You're withdrawn. So, the Shraddha further progresses into Virya Upaya. That is celibacy at the level of mind. Celibacy means what? No inclination towards sense objects. All the senses have been withdrawn. Whatever you give me to eat, I will eat that without complaint. I don't care if it is not very well cooked, it is half cooked, or it is very properly cooked. I am not concerned. Whatever I am seeing, I am traveling somewhere. My home also, I am seeing the same thing. When I am traveling also, my state of mind is same. So neither I criticize nor I appreciate. I see. I only allow the sense to do its work without forming an attachment, without having a judgment of what degree what is good than the other. So celibacy or virya helps us get rid of judgment or comparison of objects. So we often see, even when there is faith, even in the closed ones, in our loved ones, in our family, we don't judge them. Irrespective of anything, there can never be judgment towards them. From where does this arise? This arises from the faith or Shraddha that has been developed. So Virya is the second Upaya. After Virya, what happens? Smriti. Smriti is what? Studying the scriptures that we are studying. Smriti is nothing but a reminder of the goal. What we are doing right now, what is it? It serves as a reminder to the direction that we have taken. So therefore, a yogi who seeks liberation, when the senses are withdrawn, naturally is not doing anything else. But then what this yogi is doing is in smriti, is studying the scriptures that do not talk about the world, but that talk about himself or herself, who he or she is, what life is, what the world is. So this smriti or constant effort made to remind oneself when you're studying, what are you doing? You're reminding yourself as of the goal. So it is said that when we talk about Gautama the Buddha, Buddha also was trained into these three. Which three? Shraddha, Virya and Upaya. If you want to, just make a note of the teachers of Gautama the Buddha, the yogis who taught him. Alara Kalama. So Alara, Alara, Kalama was the first yogi teacher of Gautama the Buddha. Alara Kalama. And second was known as Uddaka. 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 These were the two yogis which taught Gautama the Buddha yoga. Therefore, in I think I've written this in Patanjali's Yoga. Therefore, Gautama the Buddha in Dhammapada chapter 10, talks about Shila, Shraddha, Smriti. Talks about the same what we are discussing. Because what was Gautama the Buddha's teacher? The yogis taught him which path he was taken on to? The same path. Shraddha, Virya and Smriti. So therefore in Buddhism also we see this same upaya towards liberation. First to be practiced. In Buddhism also same is used. Now out of these three, did we also make a note of their degrees? Mrudu, Madhya and Tivra? Yes. So these three kind of upaya will also have the urge. Means therefore, if in a class there are 10 yogis in the Gurukulam studying under a guru, all the 10 are studying the same thing, but the degree of effort is different, therefore the result will be different for the practice. So Shraddha, Virya, Smruti. Then what are the next two? Samadhi and Prajna. In Sutra 20, it is discussed Samadhi and Prajna. When these three are there, what happens? First, Sampragyata Samadhi is attained. Immediately after these three, for a seeker who is moving through liberation after the study of scriptures, what happens? Sampragyata Samadhi is attained. So Samadhi is quickly attained by such a seeker. And after Samadhi, we see Prajna. What is Prajna? Purusha Khyati. In the state of Samadhi, from Sampragyat goes to Asampragyat, where there is differentiation between Purusha and Prakriti. Understands that who am I in respect to the world? Who am I with respect to my experiences in the world? So only in the state of Samadhi, prajna or that knowledge to differentiate between Purusha and Prakriti is attained. So Samadhi, take it as Sampragyat, and Prajna, Asampragyata Samadhi. Let's see the explanation for this sutra, the Bhashyam in Sanskritam. उपाय प्रत्ययो योगिनां भवति श्रद्धा चेतसः संप्रसादः सा हि जन्नीव कल्याणी योगिनं पाति तस्य हि श्रद्धाधानस्य विवेकार्थिनो वीर्यमुपाय जायते समुपजाति वीर्यस्य स्मृति रूप तिष्ठते स्मृति उपस्थाने च चित्तम अनुकूल समाधीयते समाहित चित्तस्य प्रज्ञा विवेक उपावर्तते येन यथावद् वस्तु जानाति तदभास्यात् तद्विषच्च वैराग्यात् असंप्रज्ञातः समाधिर्भवति. So other than Videha and Prakriti Laya, with faith, that is Shraddha, Virya, Smriti, Samadhi and Prajna attain liberation. Yes. So yesterday we saw 10. Now in these 10, as we will progress on to Sutra 21 and 22, we will see different forms of these 10 also. There are 3. Let's chant Sutra number 21. Tivra samvega Tivra samveganamasannah. Unmute yourself.
Tivra samveganam asannah.
Tivra samveganam asannah.
Tiv samveganam asannaha.
Uttamam. So this asana is nothing to do with the asanas. Asana would simply mean here proximate or near. It is asannah, not asana, but asannah. Asa. You have heard this term in Hindi, perhaps asa. Asa, asakti. Near or proximate. So, Tivra Samvega. What does Tivra is? Just make a note of it. Tivra, keen. Samvega, for those with intensity. Keen, with intensity, they are nearer to the goal. Asanna, proximate. So,
Sorry, Ji. I
yes.
didn't understand what is tivra. Probably I don't know the word in English too. There is another word.
Keen. When you're keen on doing something. Tivra.
Okay. Thank you.
Keen. Yes. When you're keen on achieving the goal. So we see in Tivra Samveganam Asannaha, there are 3 which are mentioned. Just make a note of it. Three Samvega, which are mentioned. First is Mrudu Samvega. Out of Mrudu, you have written Mrudu Samvega. Just write Mrudu there. Mrudu Madhya. Like Mrudu Samvega and Madhya Samvega. Write Mrudu Madhya. And third Adhimatra. Write third as Adhimatra. Mrudu Madhya and Adhimatra. These are the three samvegas, intensities, three intensities. So, Mrudu Samveg, Madhyama Samveg, Tivra Samveg will again have a Mrudu, Madhya and Adhimatra form. Means intensity will further have more intensity. Means the one who is a slow person, who is slowly keen on liberation, will also see this Mrudu, slowest of the slow, moderate of the slow, and the last part of the slow intensity. Means a slow seeker will also go through these three stages, where absolute dullness is there, intention is there, but absolute dullness is there. From there, moderate, and from there we see adhimatra, or more intense, but still in a slower pace. So now how many you have? Write these mrudu, madhya and adhimatra for virya and smruti, and calculate and tell me how many stages together. So Shraddha, Virya, Smruti Upaya 3. These three will have three different samvega, which is Mrudu, Madhya, Tivra, and Mrudu, Madhya, Tivra individually will have three. Mrudu, Madhya and Adhimatra. So how many stages of a seeker?
27.
Yes, everybody agrees with 27?
Yes.
Patanjali is mathematics. Yes. So these many are the levels at which the degrees, what you can call them in English, the degrees through which a seeker goes. Vedic maths. Now, Vachaspati Mishra, one of the famous commentator on all the philosophies, mentioned that along with this, the past life samskaras or impressions are also very important in taking a seeker towards samadhi and prajna. What are impressions? Every person we meet leaves a certain impression on our mind, and it is taken very seriously in yoga. With whom you interact, what are the energies that you share. Every act we do leaves a subtle impression on our chitta. Yes, and if we reduce in sattva, if a person reduces in sattva, those impressions start coming up more strong. So therefore, Pati Mishra, one of the greatest scholars, says that along with these three samskaras, or what you're interacting with, not only of this birth, but your past life tendencies also play an important role. And interestingly, it is said that children who are quieter, who could meditate in childhood, yes, which means people who could easily concentrate in childhood, may not become great yogis. But children who are more worldly, which means they are samskaras, who are more worldly, exhausted those samskaras and could become great yogis or maybe. So the impressions of the mind from the past birth are seen as a child grows up. What they want, what are their tendencies, do they share, do they not share, how much they participate in the family. Usually when a family has many children, it is seen that one child is not participating in anything but observing everything. There is one child who will often want to save everyone. There is one child who will often have to be saved. So does it mean all these three are not eligible for yoga? They are eligible for yoga, but the upaya, as per the upaya and samvega, the result will be different. That is what we talk about in Sutra number 21, Tivra Samvegana Asana. So we'll chant Sutra 22. Mrudu Madhya Adhimatra Tattvat
Mritu Madhya Adimatra Tattva
Tattvat Oapi Visheshaha.
Tattva Api Visheshaha.
One breath. Mrudu Madhya Adhimatra Tattvato Visheshaha.
Mrudu
Madhya Adimatra Tattva Tattopi Visheshaha.
So what we just discussed, it is being mentioned here in Sanskrit Bhashya. It says Mrudu Tivra, Madhya Tivra, Adhimatra Tivra iti. Tato api Visheshaha, tad Visheshana Vritti, Samvegayas Asannaha, Tato Madhya Tivra, Samvega Asanna, Astarad, Mado Digi, Matrati, तीव्र संवेगस्य अधिमात्रो उपाय आसन्नतम समाधि लाभः समाधि फल चेति. So the phala of all the three upaya is samadhi. But it begins with shraddha. Only when there is shraddha or faith. Here they did not begin with any other form. But what was a prerequisite for asampragyat samadhi? Shraddha or faith. Shraddha or faith is important more than knowledge. So in fact, a seeker who studies more is required to cultivate also Shraddha or faith. And we saw what is Shraddha, Sattva Kriyate. So for Asampragyat Samadhi, which quality we will have to cultivate strongly? Shraddha means faith or surrender at a level where our senses withdraw from the world. In the olden times, even till today, it is practiced either towards a guru. Usually towards the guru, the Shraddha or faith is being practiced.
For now,
Yes.
in case those who don't have a guru, what?
Ishvara, the next Sutra 23, Ishvara Pranidhanadva. In the next session, we will be discussing. Towards whom? What are the qualities towards whom we should develop this faith? When we discuss 23, 24, 25, we will start understanding that. So what should be the quality of the person towards whom you will develop this faith and surrender? Therefore, for a child, it is said parents are the first teachers. Means what? In childhood, before the child meets any other guru, the faith is cultivated. Just the person is replaced later on. For people who are in Grahastha ashram, who are married, faith is cultivated towards each other. So the quality is cultivated. The person then may later would be the guru. But the tendency to have faith and surrender is cultivated from early childhood. We will be pausing here for today and taking questions if you have any.
I have one question, ma'am. When we talk about faith, yes, we were talking about faith in a guru, faith in God, but many times I heard and I agree that for yoga, it's a spiritual path that you don't need to have faith in some God. So when we talk about faith in this case, is what? Faith in the method, in the methodology of yoga, or faith in the divine power?
Now, we saw that Sage Patanjali talked about two things. What was that? Abhyasa and Vairagya. As the first. Yes, and after Abhyasa and Vairagya in Sutra 23 talks about Ishvara Pranidhanadva. Second way, just purely through faith. So when this faith is talked about, it's the faith towards the method, and also a person who has become that method. So usually we talk about guru and the knowledge are not separate. A guru who has become the knowledge means what? Such a guru, apart from what is being taught in day-to-day life also, if you observe, is not different from the knowledge. So a teacher who becomes the method, so there is no separation between the method and the knowledge separately and the teachers. It's not a teacher teaching a subject, but teacher becomes that subject. You remember Baisoham? We had a narration of Baisoham. He's meditating on the buffalo, Baisoham, where he feels like he has become the buffalo. So where the knowledge and the teacher is not different. So when we have Ishvara Pranidhana first towards the teacher, it's not the physical form, it's the knowledge which is being contained. That knowledge which is useful for us, that knowledge is being respected. We say that the knowledge is in the physical form. Means this guru has devoted the life for this knowledge, has become a pure instrument of carrying the knowledge. So now some students, now we'll go to Sage Patanjali and say that Abhyasa and Vairagya, Asampragyat Samadhi, it sounds great. But how do I take myself through Upaya? I'm difficult to, I find it difficult to trust humans or any other person. Then Sage Patanjali talks about having trust in the higher power. That is Ishvara Pranidhananda. Says, okay, you don't have faith in the Guru, absolutely fine. Have faith in the one who is running this entire world. Then further we say Tasya Vachaka Pranava. Then the mantra Om is introduced and so on. But asana would mean here, we said near, asannaha, near and proximity to asampragyat samadhi. So the first method, Abhyasa and Vairagya, for the highest level of seeker ends here at this sutra. Next sutra onwards, we see Madhyam Adhikari. Ucha Adhikari, for them, direct samadhi was talked about, Sampragyat, Asampragyat. Sampragyat, if you have some worldly desires or if you still want to be a part of Prakriti, and Asampragyat, if all you desire is liberation. You have no attachment. Like, for example, we talk about Ravana, Sampragyat, Prakriti Laya. Yes, a great yogi. So, those who have not heard the Smriti, they also do great efforts and penances. But they do it to have something in return, to master something, to use a certain power. Now, for Ucha Adhikari, both are Ucha Adhikari. The ones who are doing it for some power, those also are highest Adhikari. In fact, it is usually said, that the person who want to attain certain powers in a destructive way for destruction are more stronger than the people who want to attain it for a constructive use. So for destructive use also, when they want to attain something, they are doing it with so much of adhisthana. Means what? Even when you see your loved one and even when you see your enemy, towards both you cultivate a very strong feeling in heart. Otherwise, you meet so many people in the world. You're not affected by anyone, but you're affected by only two people. Ones you intensely love or share an attachment with, and same level, in fact, more towards somebody you don't like. So, very good example when in the monastery we were discussing the upayas, yes, and we were discussing that the upayas are similar to dharana. So when we talk about the second upaya, which is virya or celibacy, with pratyahara in 8 limbs of yoga also, it's like cultivating dharana and dhyana. Smriti, dhyana, and we connect the virya with dharana. So some of the monks who, a young monk, just entered the monastery, he said that yes, when I used to watch the cricket on the television years back, I used to see that the person who was, shooting the entire cricket would pick up 20, 15 beautiful faces amongst the crowd. So that was the level of dharana. Means even though an important match was taking place, nobody could spot what was in his mind, but he could actually pick up 15 to 20 most beautiful faces in the entire stadium of so many people. Why? Because that thought has been cultivated in such an intensity that it's spotted easily. There is pratyahara towards everything else. So we shared a great laughter on this. Young monk, and then he realized he shouldn't have said this. So you can also connect the virya with dharana and smriti upaya with dhyana, meditation. But Sage Patanjali has not yet introduced 8 limbs to us. When he does further, we will see. We will conclude the session here for today. Please bring your palms together at the heart center. We will chant the mantra Purnamada. Om Purnamada
Namidam
Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye
Shishate.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently bow your head down. Feel grateful for this learning, the knowledge from Patanjali. When you're ready, gently lift your head up, open your eyes, extend your eyes. Namaste. Thank you so much. Next week, there is an exam on the 20 sutras. By heart. Only if you're able to by heart, I'm sorry to say this, you will attend the session. If you're not able to by heart, I have to be little strict for the memorization. So if you're not able to by heart, you will wait outside the classroom, which means I will not allow you entry in the class for that day. Okay? So memorize the 20 sutras one by one. It just takes 5 minutes for you to chant 1 to 20. Take each other's responsibility, check with each other, and memorize the 20 sutras by heart. Hari Om. Take care. Sending love and light. Bye-bye. Good night.